With the Porsche 918 now finished, I was kind of looking for a quick project that did not take a lot of immense detailing like all the carbon fiber decals on the 918 did, so I took out a simple and easy kit from Tamiya, the hsMVY S13. Now I'm starting off with obviously marking off the mold lines, and I get a lot of questions what mold lines actually are. Now it's pretty simple. Mold lines are the lines created from the two halves of the mold coming together, and a little bit of plastic is squeezing in between those lines, and that has a raised edge called a mold line. Now these lines are not supposed to be there, and you're easily gonna recognize them as they are just raised up, probably a bit wonky and ugly looking lines. And if you look at some reference photos of the real car, you know that they're not supposed to be there, so you can just remove them. What I always like to do is just take out a permanent marker or a Sharpie, basically the same thing, nevertheless, and I just mark them so I know where they are, and I just keep sanding them till all the black marking is gone, so I know the mold line is gone and smooth as well. So I'm just going to go all around the body using a sanding stick. You could also do this with some sandpaper. I would suggest doing this about 400, maybe 600 grit. And if you have some mold lines that take a little long to get off, just use some 180, maybe 320, and then just smooth them out when they're all gone with some regular 400 or 600, and prepare the body for some primer. With all of these mold lines now removed, there was also a small emblem on the side which I did not like, so I marked that as well, so I knew that I had to sand that off, and then just gently started to remove it. With that all gone, it was time to prepare the body for some primer. I just take out some 600 grit sandpaper and start sanding the entire body down. Now, the reason for doing this is to give the primer some bite. If the body is all smooth, the primer won't have anything to grab onto and will just rip off or maybe even break off when you're just flexing the body a bit. And I'm just going to go over the entire body with the 600 grit, making sure everything is scuffed up and all the shininess is gone and it's a bit rough for the primer to have some bite. The body is now all scuffed up and ready to be put in some primer. The panel lines were deep enough so they did not need any rescribing, and then I just gave it a quick wash with some water and wiped it down with a towel to finally move on to applying some primer from a spray can. I get asked pretty frequently if it is possible to get the same results from a spray can as you can from an airbrush. Now the simple answer to that is yes, though of course it turns out not to be quite as simple as that. So in this video series I will be going into more detail about complicated paint jobs, as I will be doing a two-tone on this one, and also a quick and easy video, 3 steps of how to polish a 1K clear from a spray can. With the first coat of primer applied, I let it dry for about 10 minutes before moving on to applying the second coat. With this second coat on, it has fully been covered to my liking, and it can be sanded down a bit if there is any dust in it. If you're ready to move on without repriming it, just leave it for about an hour before applying the color, and if you have the time, just leave it overnight.